Hey, my name is Andrew Mancanello. I'm from Fenwick, Ontario. I play bass for Reality Denied, for Sinner After Death. I do vocals for Sunnycide, and I play guitar in New Union. So my main influences growing up was I used to have a supply teacher in high school named Mr. Gway, who also played in another band, Street Pharmacy. Um, and both my parents were teachers, so I thought that it's either you choose a life of teacher and just be whatever, you do that every day and you just become that. But he kind of showed me that you can kind of help kids and kind of like help the world in a certain way and then also be involved in music. So he was definitely a huge inspiration for me. Musically, I grew up in Catholic school, Catholic environment, so naturally it was like Christian hardcore, Christian metalcore, that got me into music, specifically early Dallas Taylor, like guttural Under Oath era was something that was huge to me, and then the Spencer Chamberlain era when I was in grade 7 and 8, and that kind of brought me into the whole world of music that kind of is who I am today. So. And also to add on to the influences, one that has been extremely important in the most recent 5 years of my life has been Jay from Mind Force, who is a high school teacher. And I was at a point in my life when I was torn between what to do career wise and what to do kind of morally, integrity wise, and what was true to me. And he was someone who lived by example, and he was still able to help out kids and to teach kids and still be like extremely influential doing music. And without him and listening to his music, I don't think I would have continued down the exact path that I'm continuing down today. So I do owe Jay from Mind Force a lot of credit in keeping me sane on my path in life, for sure. In regard to punk specifically, I can say that Green Day's Kerplunk and the Dookie record were the main records, punk wise, I guess, per se, that influenced me. Listened to them like every day after school with my friends, grade like 5, 6, huge records. Grade 7, 8 was kind of the transition into like more like the Christian metalcore scene was like very big and important for me. Like Under Oath was a massive band. Both the Dallas Taylor and Spencer Chamberlain eras that were huge on me, like both of their vocal styles. So that carried me a very long way. And hardcore started in grade 9 with Code Orange's I Am King. That came out. I listened to that a lot in tech class in grade 9 with another guy named Jordan Mason, who I went to high school with. And that record, as well as their first EP that had a track called Violence on it, which was a very important track to me. And then from grade 9 onward, have been into mostly metal and hardcore since. So the first concert I ever attended was a series of Kiss cover band concert shows. That was this band named Destroyer from Windsor, that my dad was like super close with, and he would like do lights and sell merch for the band, and we'd go to like all their shows at the CNE. So grew up listening to a lot of Kiss. Someone that's become my good friend, Vince, loves Kiss, and I'm just so happy that he does, because now I have lots of stories to tell him. I went to like a lot of like metalcore kind of like pop punk crossover shows in grade 9, but the first like real show, hardcore show that I went to was a very important show, and that was the Comeback Kid Backtrack Counterparts Sinner at the time show that happened at the Copacabana RIP, which is no longer a venue. At that show, there was just a convergence of people that have become like integral to like my existence as a person. Matt Squires was there, Connor Gibbs was there. Sinner opened that night, and like that show was extremely important to me. Just watching people dogpile on the mic, knowing all the words to the Counterparts songs as like a 13-year-old kid, meeting Brendan Murphy that night, and I ended up seeing him years later at our jam space, and he jammed at the space across, and I had to play it off like I didn't care, but still a great night nonetheless. But that night at the Copacabana was like extremely important to me and like resonates for years and years. So my favorite show that I saw, I would say, has to be a band called Transit. They were a pop punk band that was like in the same scene as like Man Overboard, Have Mercy, Story So Far, in like that age of like easycore, kind of like pop punk, heavy, hardcore crossover atmosphere, and they were a hugely important band for me. Rest in peace to Tim Landers, who unfortunately passed away. Was probably the biggest guitar influence on me personally in that realm. So every Transit show I've been to has been absolutely incredible, and I honestly I wish I could see them again. Meshuggah was an incredible show. I remember our dear friend Nate's dad, Jason, who is just a complete character, drove us to Pittsburgh and back in one night. We saw Converge. We saw Meshuggah. Everyone got injured in some way. I shattered a couple teeth. Everything was just wonderful in every way. And I could say that my favorite show that I played has probably been the show that Bulldoze, when Bulldoze first came to Canada in Brampton. I got completely discombobulated that night, fractured my nose. Luckily, Kelly the pit nurse was there to save me, and it was honestly like the best day of my life. And yeah, I can say those were probably my favorite shows that I've been to. Craziest thing that's ever happened at a show, I would say, is when RD played under an underpass in Montreal, and there were objects flying around in the pit that I never thought I would see. There were construction pylons getting thrown at people. We had full on utility vehicle tires with massive tread getting tossed around. Lawn chairs. There was moshing going on without even any music playing, and I just remember just being more invigorated than I've ever been in my entire life with the just various objects that are just flying around this pit with zero control, zero supervision. And honestly, I ever since then, I look forward to going to Quebec every single time. So it started off in grade 4 or 5 with a band called Revelation that my brother and I had with friends in our neighborhood, mostly 80s covers, 90s covers, with like 2005 easycore pop punk inspired songs peppered throughout. So that's how it started out, like Van Halen covers, Def Leppard covers, Journey covers, stuff like that. Then we ended up covering Foo Fighters, Nirvana. Then after that, around grade 8, grade 9 was more pop punk years, was in a band called From Start to Finish. again, with my brother and I and a couple other buddies, we played Alexis on Fire covers and like more like brand new esque originals. And then after that, my brother and I also played in like a metalcore band called Past the Verge, which is still near and dear to my heart. Not fully dissolved, just on a little bit of a, I guess you would say, permanent hiatus. More ambient, like post metalcore kind of atmosphere. Very important time of my life. And then after that, ventured into playing with Reality Denied, with two individuals who are just integral to my existence, Matt and Connor. And then after that, Split Union, becoming New Union. Sunnycide, who's been around for 10 years, started off as like a Doom Sludge project with my brother and I, then getting Christian to come play bass, Dawson to play guitar, Dawson going to school, Nate joining guitar, just playing with Brandon, Christian, and I, multiple incarnations, joining Sinner when Sinner became AD, who were an extremely influential, important band for me in my life growing up in grade 8, grade 9. And then also just playing with a band called Seven Worlds Apart for a little bit of time, more new metal, metalcore vibes, and still great friends with all of those guys, and just extremely grateful for all the people that I've met and played with along the way. What I like the most about being a musician is that I feel like it's the place in life where I feel like you have to do the least role playing and you can just be fully authentic, like who you are down to the core, and you just have this complete blinding faith that the people around you are going to love you and accept you. And when you get that feeling, it's completely almost like intoxicating, and you can like never leave it. So that's my favorite part about being a musician, is that the fact that you can just be fully authentic and fully who you are around people that you know understand you and be like, yes, like I know what you're thinking, I know where you're going with that, I know what you see. And that can be so reassuring sometimes in the world. What I dislike the most about being a musician is trying to having to explain to certain people that you are a musician, and then just immediately getting, I guess the word is like judged for that, and just don't worry about that affecting you, and just to remember that the people who are involved in this music, in this scene, they will love you, they will respect you, and you honestly have nothing to worry about at all, because there are people who think like you think, who want things the way that you want them, and you don't have to be ashamed for that at all. My favorite food, hands down, is falafel shawarma. Taiba in St. Catharines comes in super clutch. Open till 3 a.m. pretty much most days, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Best falafel plate. They have everything. Best garlic sauce. I could probably eat falafel every day, hands down. Without a doubt, my favorite food. My most useless talent is that I could build a golf club for you, or repair one for you, build one, put it back together, take it apart, put it back together, different parts. That is probably the most useless skill I have, although it benefits you if you do golf. If you don't, then it doesn't benefit anyone at all. So, yeah. Huge shout out to Steve from Stronger Than Ever videos. Awesome guy, a whole slew of knowledge. Please get in contact with him, get in touch with him. He's doing a lot for this scene, so huge shout out to him. Much love.